These 8 useful English words will lift your fluency and your IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge score. And you won't just memorize them. You'll meet each one inside the story, feel what it means, then prove you caught it. That's how your brain keeps them for good. Marcus rented Marsh House because it was the cheapest place in town. He soon found out exactly why. By his 3rd night, he was certain the house was trying to tell him something. He was simply too petrified to listen. Everyone in the village had warned him. That house is haunted, they said. Marcus did not believe in ghosts. He believed in cheap rent. The first night was quiet. The second was not. At exactly midnight, the stairs began to creak, slowly, one step at a time, as though something unseen were climbing them. The sound startled him wide awake. Marcus lay frozen in his bed, petrified, the blanket pulled up to his chin. He told himself it was only an old house settling. Old houses creak. That was all. It had to be. But then a cold draft swept through the locked room, and he felt himself shudder from his neck to his toes. Somewhere below, very softly, something sighed. By morning, he had almost convinced himself he had dreamed it. Then he came downstairs and shuddered all over again. The kitchen table, which he had left completely bare, was neatly set for 2. It went on like that for a week, a sinister chill in the hallway. Doors that closed by themselves, his muddy boots left by the door, somehow cleaned and placed side by side. Each new sign felt more sinister than the last, and yet, oddly, the ghost never broke a single thing and never threatened him. It seemed almost tidy. Marcus was a practical man, even a terrified one. So one night, he set a trap. He hid in the dark pantry, a torch in one hand and a frying pan in the other, and he waited to catch his ghost. He felt a little foolish, a grown man crouching in his own pantry armed with kitchenware, but he waited all the same. At midnight, the stairs creaked. The kitchen door swung slowly open. A small, hunched figure shuffled in, humming softly, and reached for the kettle. Marcus leapt out, braced for a monster, swinging the frying pan, and startled the very life out of a tiny, 90-year-old woman in slippers. She shrieked. He shrieked. The frying pan clattered to the floor. For a long moment, the 2 of them just stood there, each clutching their chest, equally petrified of the other. Her name was Edith. She was, it turned out, entirely harmless and entirely real. She lived in the little cottage next door, and she had a key to Marsh House. She had owned that key for 80 years. Because Edith had been born in this house, she had grown up in it, raised her own children in it, and grown old in it, until it was sold, and she was quietly moved next door, alone. Every night, while the tenant slept, she had let herself in. She watered the plants, she dusted the shelves. She set the table for a family that no longer lived there, and hummed softly to the empty rooms. The whole haunting was just a lonely old woman, bracing herself each night to visit the only place that still felt like home. Every tenant before Marcus had fled before she could explain. The entire sinister legend of Marsh House, the cold spots, the creaks, the moving objects, was nothing but Edith, tidying up out of love. Marcus looked at this terrifying ghost, all 4 feet 11 inches of her, clutching a tea towel, and began helplessly to laugh. The whole thing was utterly absurd. He had spent an entire week petrified of somebody's grandmother. So instead of changing the locks, Marcus put the kettle on. He set the table for 2, properly this time, and asked Edith to stay. She came back the next night, and the next, no longer a secret. The most haunted house in town became, quite simply, a home with company in it again. And the only thing that harmless old Edith ever truly haunted in the end was Marcus's heart. It was, he decided, the most wonderful, absurd, welcome haunting in the world. Now, did you catch all 8? Let's find out. A verb meaning to make a long, high, squeaking sound. It's the noise a rusty gate or a tired floorboard makes. The old wooden stairs did this every night at midnight. Marcus heard the steps do what slowly, one by one, in the dark?
The word is creak.
The old door began to creak as it slowly swung open. A verb meaning to shake suddenly from fear or cold. It's the quick, involuntary shiver of a frightened body. A cold draft made Marcus do this from his neck to his toes. He felt himself do what as something below softly sighed? The word is shudder. She shuddered at the thought of the long, dark walk home. An adjective for being unable to cause any harm. Think of a tiny puppy that looks fierce but could not hurt a fly. The terrifying ghost turned out to be completely this. Sweet old Edith was what as a person could possibly be.
The word is harmless.
The spider looked frightening, but it was completely harmless. A verb meaning to surprise and slightly frighten someone. It's making someone jump with a sudden noise or movement. Marcus did this to Edith when he leapt out of the dark pantry. Leaping from the dark, he managed to do what to the tiny old woman?
The word is startle.
Please don't startle the horse by shouting near it. A verb, meaning to prepare yourself for something difficult or shocking. It's tensing your body and your nerves before an impact. Marcus did this for a monster as he swung the frying pan. He leapt out doing what? Preparing himself for a terrible ghost?
The word is brace.
Passengers were told to brace themselves for a hard landing. An adjective for seeming evil or threatening. Think of a dark figure in a doorway who clearly means you harm. Every strange sign in the house felt more this than the last. The whole what kind of legend of the house hid a gentle little secret.
The word is sinister.
There was something sinister about the silent, watching house. An adjective for being so frightened that you cannot move. Its terror so complete that your whole body turns to stone. Marcus lay like this in bed as the stairs creaked below. For a week he was, what of a sweet little grandmother.
The word is petrified.
She was petrified when all the lights suddenly went out. An adjective for being wildly silly or ridiculous. It's so against all sense that it makes you laugh out loud. Marcus realized his whole week of terror had been this. Being scared of tiny old Edith was completely what?
The word is absurd.
The idea that the quiet teacher was a spy is completely absurd. Quick recap. How many do you still remember?
Creak.
Shudder.
Harmless. Startle. Brace. Sinister. Petrified.
Below.
Absurd.
A new English story every day. Subscribe and learn useful words the way your brain actually keeps them. Inside a story you won't forget.